According to an ancient legend, King Buddha ruled the city from the top of a hill, and his neighbor, Queen Pest, ruled another city in a valley. While the king was building an impregnable fortress, the queen was building houses for the people. The kindness of the queen conquered the king's heart, and he proposed to her. So the two cities turned into one, Budapest. My name's Zoe, and I only have one day in the city to learn all its secrets. A legend is one thing, but in fact Budapest united not two but three cities, Buda, and Pest. It didn't happen too long ago. In 1872, ironically, although Budapest is the youngest capital of Europe, it has a 1,000-year-old history. My advice to you is to start your journey of the city with Old Buda, which is 12 centuries older than Pest. The heart of Buda is the Buda Castle. But remember, this is not a single building, but an entire district. To cover everything, you'd have to spend a full day here. Since I don't have much time, I'll try to focus on the coolest parts. The walls of the castle on the hill were built to protect the country from its enemies. Their endurance was tested several times. In the 16th century, the Turkish army crushed the fortress to the ground. The Second World War left its marks too. When restoring the fortress, primarily, they tried to preserve the medieval infrastructure, and secondly, the architectural mastery, and they succeeded. When you're here, it immediately feels as if you've been traveled 5 or 6 centuries back in time. This is the fisherman's bastion. You won't find any other fish here. The place is mainly frequented by tourists. I'll let you in on a little secret. The entire building was built at the beginning of the last century. You should come here to admire the beautiful sights, at the very least. If you're a history nerd, I'd recommend you take a tour of the Buda Castle. That way you won't miss a single detail. As for me, I've come up with something a bit different. Did you know there's an ancient labyrinth 52.5 feet below the Buda Hill's surface? Since I've properly appreciated the beauty of Buda, I can confidently head over to the more modern and cheerful Pest. How to get there? Well, not by foot, of course, but by cable car. There are only 2 stations, one at the top and the other at the bottom, so we can't get lost. 1 ticket, please. Thank you. At $4.50, it's not too cheap. This is the cable car of Budapest. Oh, and it's the oldest one in the world, by the way. Take it off a bit. Better yet, we should do that with just a walk in the city park. 1 ticket, please. 1 ticket costs about $1.20. Well, €1, basically. Many people believe that the world's oldest subway was built in London, but actually the first electric metro system in Europe was built in Budapest. Tourists call it the underground tram, and yes, that makes sense because the metro cars are really small and the subway isn't too deep underground. On the way to the park, I'm going to go past Heroes Square in the center. You can spot the Millennium Memorial or the Archangel Gabriel standing on a globe. He's holding the Apostolic Cross and crown of Istvan in his hands, one of the most famous kings of Hungary. But the most interesting thing in the square is the colonnade. Between the columns, you can see the greatest Hungarian rulers and heroes. It is in their honor that the name of the square was coined Heroes Square. Here you can see all the major kings and rulers of Hungary. Among them, there's even my favorite king, King Matthias. He ruled in the 15th century and was one of the wisest kings. Seeing him on a Hungarian for-rent bill sparked my interest. Behind the square, you'll find the city park. These used to be the hunting grounds. But at the end of the 18th century, the swamps were drained and trees were planted instead. Városliget, in Hungarian it means city park. Budapest locals love hanging out here. You can find everything here: a zoo, the botanical garden, and the famous baths. This fairy tale castle has a complicated name, so complicated I'm not going to even try to say it. Tourists love to take photos with the castle in the background, and the name is really hard to pronounce. This castle is actually a copy of the original situated in Transylvania. It's less than 100 years old, but it looks like an ancient mansion. What do you think is inside? Nope, not the quarters of an enchanting princess, but an agricultural museum. Now what you expected? Well, I'm not going to visit it. I'd rather take a walk around. The history behind the sculpture is fascinating. Once upon a time, there was a hermit monk who meticulously recorded all the most significant events at the time. But he didn't document a single thing about himself. Hungarians are very grateful people. They've erected a monument in honor of this monk. They named it the Anonymous statue. They say that if you touch its pin, you'll become a genius. Well, I don't know if I'm ready for all that responsibility, but let's go. I'll inform you about centuries of history. Oh, I touched the pin and instantly remembered I was planning on taking a boat trip down the Danube River. This trip only takes an hour, but will inspire memories that will last a lifetime. There are 8 bridges in Budapest, and now we're sailing under one of them. It's decorated with lions, and there's a funny legend about them. The Hungarians say that if a husband who hasn't ever cheated on his wife passes underneath, the lions will roar. Alas, the lions remain silent. They say that the idea behind the chain bridge belongs to a count who couldn't make it in time to his beloved father's funeral. Afterwards, he vowed to build a beautiful bridge just like this. The views here are fantastic. Look, that's the Parliament. From here it looks even more majestic. You know, at first, I was surprised to see there's no one on the boat except for me. Now I know why. It's terribly cold on the river. So it's time to go ashore. I'll have just enough time to see the Hungarian Parliament, one of the leading landmarks of Budapest. Of course, while I've seen the Hungarian Parliament in pictures, I didn't expect it to be this beautiful in real life. I'm actually jealous of the Hungarian politicians who get to work in this fairy tale castle. Wow, it's exquisite inside. This is the largest building in Hungary. They used 40 million bricks and 88 pounds of gold to build it. Wow, inside it's even more luxurious and spectacular. 3 styles, Gothic, Baroque, and Renaissance, merged into one. It's impressive, and I think I'm fitting in quite well with this outfit. You could wander here all day long, and I would be more than happy to do so, but I don't have much time, so I need to spend at least one last precious moment thing that I've got here. The heart of the Parliament is the Dome Hall. Here they've preserved the national symbols of Hungary, the scepter, sword, orb, and the crown of Saint Istvan. You can't come close to them, you can only look, but only from a distance. This is the crown of Saint Istvan. It's sacred in Hungary. They consider it to be their protector, guardian. Do you know what's interesting? For a long time it was the crown, not the king, that was considered the source of power. And it was the crown that accepted the oath of allegiance first and only then the king. If I were a queen, I'd order the most delicious dessert. On second thought, why not? I'm in Budapest, and here they bake the most delicious strudels in the world. To be in Budapest and not to eat a strudel is a crime, even more so because I know where to find the best ones. I've never seen so many different styles of strudels before. I always thought strudels were made mostly with apples, but it turns out they can be made with cherries, cottage cheese, apricots, meat, fish, and even cabbage. I don't know where to start, and here you get to see how they're baked right before your eyes. The dough needs to be so thin that you can read a newspaper through it. That's the guideline here. You mix the apples with sugar and cinnamon. Oh, and it doesn't throw off the bakers even for a second that I'm standing right in front of them discussing their process as they go. They've gotten used to it, and there's something endearing about their transparency. While watching them bake, my strudel was prepared and served. Okay, let's try it. big piece. I can't taste the dough at all. It's very delicious. Not too sweet. There's a good amount of filling. They definitely put more than enough in here. It's pretty substantial. Very, very good. Very satisfying. This is simply strudel paradise. Thank you. I'm feeling re-energized and ready to go. I need to buy some souvenirs for my friends and family. I'm heading straight for the city's main market to find everything I need. I've just arrived at the market, but Hungarian is one of the most difficult languages in the world, so I doubt I can pronounce it correctly. But I didn't expect the inside to be as gorgeous as the outside. There are so many different sections, I don't know what to grab onto first. Here in Budapest, they sell the world-known Heron porcelain, famous for its unique quality and beauty. Just imagine, this porcelain coffee set can cost up to $16,000. I hope they sell it for cheaper at the market. This porcelain is considered to have the finest, yes, most durable quality. But it's puzzling to me. How can something be durable yet so fine? Well, they've got to be wizards or something. Look at this little vase. Costs $48? It's a little bit pricey for my taste. But at the same time, it'll be all yours, standing strong at home, impossible for anyone to ever break. Okay, so the small vase is expensive and not the most practical. The bell is expensive too and probably not too useful either. Although, on second thought, why not? One day when I have a big family, I could ring them down together for dinner. Dinner. How much is this?
26,000 forints.
Okay, dollars please.
$95.
$100? Okay. $100 for Heron porcelain is actually quite a reasonable price for a quality find. An ideal souvenir. I barely noticed how fast the day flashed by. Now I'm heading to a pub, which is, yes, one of a kind. You won't see another one like this anywhere else in the world. If you're on a Euro trip, you can't skip out on Budapest. No, not only because it's cheaper than London or Brussels, but because it's only in Budapest that you find some ruins pubs. Okay, I have the perfect idea for a startup. Come to Budapest, find an abandoned building, bring some old furniture there, put up a bar counter, and that's it. Your ruined pub is ready. Most people come here to have a drink and enjoy themselves. The crowd is quite diverse. Everyone seems to come from different walks of life, but still tourists mostly. Anyways, I'm not planning on drinking. I like to follow a healthy lifestyle. Juice, honestly. It's just juice. It's fun enough here already. Frankly, I don't get the secret to the ruined pubs' success, but we'll have to go further to get to the bottom of this. Well, listen, all of this had to be thought of somehow. And look. Oh, the boys here are cool. I can't even imagine how many markers were used to draw this. As far as I understand, each room has its own story. Well, no, not a story in a sense, but more like a special mood or something. Well, basically, each room is unique. Look at this one. This is designed to look like a laboratory. Okay, I'm starting to catch on. The atmosphere here is so chill. You feel right at home. You can come here with a big group of friends, congregate right here, and you've got a bar right there. I would sit here. As for the rest, I don't know where, but it would be fun. Cool t-shirt, nice. It's a bar and a shop. It's a great place to visit, just like this. It'll make a lasting impression on you, guaranteed. It's super cool inside a ruined pub, really, and fun. I'm just getting tired and I want to take it easy for my last Budapest moments. After a noisy ruined bar, I need to relax and recover. Budapest has the perfect place just for that. Thermal baths are Budapest's pride and glory. The city has 30 baths for any preference and budget. But the most famous bath complex is, of course, Széchenyi. It was built at the beginning of the last century in a truly royal style. The Széchenyi Spa Bath is a huge bath complex. They have saunas, baths, they offer massages, different spa treatments, basically anything to pamper yourself. I know what I want to try the most, their outdoor swimming pool. The water is marvelous. I didn't expect the Hungarians to be so active late at night. I wanted to escape for some quiet time. But oh, I think I can see an empty pool. I'm headed there. The water is a bit cooler in this pool, but compared to the chilled evening air, it's just right. Diving into the thermal waters of a warm spring in the open air, what could be more soothing for a tired tourist? My one day in Budapest turned out to be simply wonderful. I was able to do everything I had planned. The day was bright, busy, and now the night relaxing. This is one day in the city. My name's Zoe. See you in the next city.